Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2021-22 season. My name is Dan and we are doing my team selection for Game Week 9 today. A pretty interesting one. You guys will know that there has been some major updates, I suppose, in the world of FPL. Lukaku's injury mainly. Maybe Werner's injury contributes to that as well, which means we are going to have to make some decisions that perhaps we didn't think we'd have to make. So I'm going to talk about that today. We're going to go through my scores from last week. We're going to go through who I'm going to go for my captain and who I am thinking of doing for my transfers as well this week. So hopefully this could be a pretty interesting one. Hopefully you guys are going to be really wanting to know what's going on in my mind. Honestly, it's been a lot of thinking over the past sort of 12 hours, I suppose. But yeah, hopefully we're going to cover what's going on basically in my team and my kind of thoughts on where we go forward from here. But before we do anything else, guys, if you wouldn't mind liking the video, I'd be massively appreciated. Really helps out the channel. And guys, I know about half of you watching this video right now are not subscribed. Guys, get subscribed. I'm going to try and help you out to my best of my ability to help you achieve all of your goals in FPL, and hopefully you can help me get to 100,000 subscribers as well. So without further ado, a quick word from our sponsor, OneFootball, the regular sponsor of this series. It's a great website / app for all things football. If you want to check out scores, if you want to check out lineups, if you want to check out the stats or who's been substituted, who's got yellow cards, it's a great place to stay up to date on what's going on in the live football. I find in particularly those games that you're not watching, those 3 o'clock kickoffs. You want to see what's going on around the globe. You just use OneFootball, the mobile app in particular I really like, and it's completely free. The link is in my description. There's all kinds of stuff on there. Do go check it out. I do certainly recommend it. But without further ado, let's have a look at my Game Week 8 scores, and it's kind of an interesting one. It's an interesting one mostly because there's 5 defenders on the pitch, which was not the plan, but it's kind of how things happened. You guys will know that I was on a wild card last week. I did have Son and Chilwell in initially, so I do kind of feel a little bit disappointed. Son, obviously, we got the news that he returned a positive COVID test. That was true, but it turned out it was a false positive COVID test, which is kind of a not very common thing to happen. It's certainly, if you get the information that Son's got a positive COVID test, you can't have him on your wildcard team realistically. So I took him out. I put Mahrez in. Mahrez obviously disappointed a little bit of a shame. I did think he would get a little bit more. It was kind of a nice punt that I thought would work out. Could have had a penalty, missed a few opportunities. Oh well, doesn't matter. You have to take the good with the bad, I suppose. And the Chilwell and James thing, I switched to James from Chilwell in the end because I felt that James had a better chance of playing in that game because I didn't really foresee the idea of Chalobah, Sarr and Christensen starting as the back 3 for Chelsea. I didn't really see that one coming, to be honest. I really thought James was going to start that game. But because of the midweek games, it kind of meant James didn't start. He got some minutes at the end. So I think I'm really, really confident James is going to start next game week. So I do think, although it seems like Chilwell was a great shout last week and, he massively outscored James, I do think James has a little bit more attacking potential. And actually, in the long run, this move may actually play to my advantage a little bit. So I'm going to try and be positive on that one. But yeah, despite the fact that there were a few things that did inevitably go wrong, to be fair, I can't really complain. Because at the end of the day, I have to call this wildcard a successful wildcard. I scored 64 points, way above the average. We had another massive rank boost. We're now into the top 2,000 players, rank of 1,705. So a really nice increase there of about 900 places. It's absolutely amazing. If we could do that again next week, we'd be in the top 1,000. So I have to be positive. I have to say, this has been really good experience. I can think about, what could have been. But at the end of the day, I made some good decisions. I brought in some good players, players like Cancelo, players like having Livramento in there, captaining Salah, Foden, he did quite well as well. So overall, I am happy with my wild card and I am happy with my score from that week. If you offered me this score before the game week started and this rank increase before the game week started, I would be happy. So I'm not going to complain too much. I don't think, you should complain too much when you are sitting in a position like this. So yeah, absolutely amazing. Team really set up for future game weeks. I'm happy. Let's try and make a push into the top 1k, and I'm going to try and figure out how to do that. So do bear with me. 0.2 million in the bag, 1 free transfer. Let's line up for this game week, and then I'll start talking about some of the changes I'm going to make going into game week 9. So let's start off in goal. We've got Aaron Ramsdale. I thought that actually he played really well. Every game, to be fair, I think he plays really well. Arsenal can be a little bit leaky, but the advantage of Ramsdale as opposed to some of the other goalkeepers is Ramsdale will get you save points, and he did get 3 saves. Well, I think he got more than 3 saves in the end, but he got that 1 save point from 3 saves. So that was, I guess, a little bit of a nice thing, I suppose. Rather than him having a terrible score, he did at least get the save points. So I do like Ramsdale for his save points. He's looking really good for saves, and hopefully some bonus as well, depending on how many goals Arsenal score. Aston Villa up next. I think Arsenal can keep a clean sheet here, but let's see what happens there. Moving on into defence, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold. The difficult away game against Manchester United, although this is difficult as you may think. Clean sheets, you would say, okay, maybe Manchester United are going to turn up kind of in this game and score a goal or two, but what you would say is that Trent is going to have a really nice attacking ability, and Manchester United have just been so leaky. You can tell the mood is bad at Manchester United right now, and they are going to concede some goals. So Trent, whether it's crosses or maybe even scoring, maybe he's taking a long shot or taking a free kick or something like that, could be really good. Assists is always his jam though, really, aren't they? Because he's just so creative, the most creative player in the whole league. So yeah, never drop Trent. I really am confident in him, and you know what? A clean sheet is not that would not be that far out of the ordinary for Liverpool at the moment either, would it? Particularly with Fabinho coming back, Alisson coming back in goal as well. That's going to be really nice for them. We've got Cancelo against Brighton. Brighton not really offering too much attacking threat recently. Well, I mean, I say recently, I really mean for the past year and a half. So yeah, a clean sheet is very much on the cards for Manchester City. The best defence in the league by a country mile. They are looking so good defensively, so solid. So a clean sheet every game from Cancelo would be very, very nice. He does seem to be more nailed on than he's ever been, and I'm not really surprised, to be honest, because he just is one of their best players. He literally is. There's no two ways about it. He's just a phenomenal player, and he's offering a decent amount of creativity going forward as well. So a start from Cancelo would be a great start, and a clean sheet would be expected from there. So 6 points is sort of the base of what he's getting, and then maybe he gets that goal contribution to make us all very happy as well. And then finally, we've got Reece James. As I said, the fact that he got some minutes last game week, he got some minutes midweek in the Champions League, I'm really confident he's going to start in this game against Norwich, and arguably that is he has so much more potential in this game than Chilwell did in the last game. So, Chilwell, great shout as well, don't get me wrong, but this week, I think it might be James's turn to shine. I really do. Norwich at home, you don't get better fixtures than that, and James is a really attacking kind of style fullback. So really looking forward to seeing what he can produce in this game. I think it's going to be good. It could be. It was one of those games where you think, a player like Reece James, he has that potential to get a nice 15-pointer or something like that. I can see it happening in this Norwich game, and I cannot wait to see what happens, basically. Really exciting. And good games after that as well. Moving on into midfield, we've got Mo Salah. I think everyone kind of accepts by now that Mo Salah is just the most essential player in the entirety of FPL. He is just scoring every game week. Fixture proof. Amazing form of his life, the form of his career, arguably, I've never seen Salah in this kind of form. He seems to just get better and better. So it's so nice to see. And with Manchester United kind of being a little bit leaky recently, and midweek as well, conceding 2 goals against Atalanta. Crazy. And last week as well, conceded 4 goals against Leicester. Is it a problem that they had some players missing last week against Leicester? I don't even know if that's the case. I think there is some real problems. Sort of Luke Shaw out of position. Salah's going to take advantage of that. Maguire on that side as well, just not mobile enough to deal with those, more technical, quick players. I'm not trying to bash Manchester United too much right now. I do think they're a very good side with some very good players, but it just doesn't seem like they're in a good place right now, and I think they can be taken advantage of here, to be honest, and I don't really consider this to be a bad fixture for Liverpool necessarily, although I know a lot of you guys typically would say Manchester United, that's a tough fixture. Maybe Manchester United turn up in the big games. I'm not exactly sure, but I do think Liverpool are going to still win, and I think Salah is definitely going to be amongst the goals there. Moving on to Mahrez. Mahrez didn't work as that punt last week. Unfortunately, he did play 90 minutes as well in midweek. So 90 minutes in a row, that's kind of obscure for Mahrez. I am kind of thinking that in this game week against Brighton, Jesus is actually going to come in on that right wing, and Mahrez is going to be go to the bench. Maybe comes on for a 1-pointer or something like that. That's kind of what I kind of, if I was to make a prediction, that's probably what's going to happen. So obviously that's not ideal news. I kind of have the question of, do I keep Mahrez in anyway and hope that he starts or hope that he gets something off the bench or something like that, or do I say, okay, the punt didn't work. We've got the new information now that he played 90 minutes, in 2 games in a row. This is not great news. And therefore, do I actually need to reconsider Mahrez's place in my team? He's a lot of money, there's a lot of budget there, and I could move him to someone who is pretty heavy hitting quite easily. We've got Foden here as well, another Manchester City guy who I'm a little bit more confident in playing because he was substituted in the last 2 games, so he has had that rest. Nice long gap between Manchester United's Champions League game and their late Saturday kickoff. And Foden does seem to be an integral part of the plans at Manchester City. So I do think he is going to start again. And if he keeps playing the way he's playing currently, I think that's going to be a really good thing as well. He's on fire at the moment, isn't he, really? Not just goal scoring potential, but creative threat as well. I really like Foden a lot. And I just hope that he can become a little bit more nailed on, or confirm that he is nailed on in this Manchester City side, and he could be a really consistent, really high scorer. Could be an amazing FPL asset to own in the long term. So really excited about that. And finally, we've got Mbeumo finally coming into this team because finally in midfield anyway, because I bought him in on my wild card. I didn't play him because I didn't want to play him against Chelsea, but I wanted to get him in early because I knew that I would want Mbeumo. So I took the risk. Well, it's not really a risk. I thought it was a sensible move, really, to get Mbeumo in early on my wild card last week, so he's ready for these fixtures. I said about this earlier on in the week. People will say Mbeumo's run of good fixtures starts next week. It doesn't. It starts right now. Leicester have been one of the worst defences in the league so far. I know a lot of people will say, no, they've improved. They're improving. They're not. They've conceded so many goals, even over the past couple of game weeks, in Europe as well. And the situation is that Brentford are, an aggressive attacking team, even though sometimes it seems like they're a defensive team because of some of their scores. When you see them attack and how aggressive they can be, they want to win. They have this confidence, and the confidence is really growing there. And Mbeumo is getting a lot of chances, more chances to score than any other player at Brentford. Even more than Tony. He's hit the post so many times. We know that about Mbeumo. It only takes him to hit the ball with, the tiniest little bit of a different, he uses his foot with a slightly different angle. He does it, 1% different angle, and instead of hitting the post, it goes in, and it's a goal. So the goals are coming. I feel like he has been a bit unlucky. I think he has enough of a reputation and how well he's done in the past in the Championship for us to know that he's not an unclinical player. He's not a wasteful player. He is actually a player who can score goals, and he's done that in the past, and he will do that in the future. He scored 2 goals this season as well. So give him a chance, against some of these easier fixtures. Brentford have had some horrible fixtures so far. I think this could be good. I think this could be good against Leicester. He's going to have some opportunities, and I think he could do really well. I'm really excited by this one. Then we've got Lukaku, who obviously we know is injured. The extent of the injury looks kind of bad, to be honest. It's an ankle injury. It does look like the potential is that he could be out for about 4 to 6 weeks. Now, don't take my word on that. We do need official word from the club, but from the very, very, the research I've done so far from, sports physio guys, physios, they've kind of had a look at this and it's kind of said online, this could be a 4 to 6 week injury. And if so, we can't be keeping Lukaku in our team. We really can't. It is a priority transfer move out, and I'm sure Lukaku owners watching this video, and I imagine that's going to count for most of you guys. Maybe some of you guys even made the early transfer move. And guys, I know it's too late for me to say this now, but this really is a lesson not to make transfers too early during, when there's a lot of midweek games going on. And I've kind of said this before. I said this earlier on in the week in my buy, sell, keep, evolve video. This is the thing I kept hammering on in that video is don't make those early transfer moves this week. It's not worth doing it. So if you did it, in a way, you've kind of only got yourself to blame, but I do hope that you can kind of learn a lesson from this in a way. I think in so many ways, we have become a little bit obsessed in the FPL community with chasing those price rises, price changes, and we're focusing so much on price changes that we're making bad decisions, we're making rushed decisions, we're making decisions before we have all the information because we're so focused on, gaining that 0.1 million in the bank. At the end of the day, points are worth more than money in the bank. So, yeah. Just try and be a little bit more patient in the future. I guess I don't want to lecture you guys, but yeah, it's a really good lesson in FPL that can really help you to improve your game, I suppose. So yeah, Lukaku was unfortunately already in my team, so I didn't even have the opportunity to move him. But for those of you who don't have Lukaku and you haven't moved him in yet, I feel like you're kind of at an advantage now, guys. Like fair enough, because you can use your transfer wherever you want, really. We've got Antonio against Spurs. Good fixture, really good fixture. Spurs very leaky, a huge game for West Ham. West Ham always really up for this game, want to score a lot of goals, and for that reason I have been holding on to Antonio for this game, although he is on the chopping block, don't get me wrong. And finally we've got Adam Armstrong, who was a real big disappointment last week. You know, you would have seen him on my bench in my last week's scores, but guys, I was so convinced that he was going to start. There was everything to suggest that he was just nailed on in that Southampton team. Their big money signing in the summer, played 90 minutes, all but one game for Southampton so far this season. I thought he was undroppable. I really did. Turns out he is droppable, but maybe he is going to come back into this team. Maybe we're going to find out a little bit more. I really hope that he can come back into this team because I really did want him for all of these really nice fixtures. We've got Burnley next, we've got Watford, we've got Norwich in a few game weeks. I really want a Southampton attacker for those fixtures. So let's give him another go. Let's see what happens, but am I confident? No. If I'm honest, no. And on the bench, guys, we've got Foster, Livramento, fantastic fixture against Burnley there, so a really nice cover there. And then Duffy and Brownhill, not so nice cover in this particular game week. But as you can kind of ascertain already, we've got a couple of issues. We've got Armstrong, who may not play. We've got Mahrez, who I don't think is going to start. I really don't think he's going to start. But most of all, we've got Lukaku, who is injured and most likely injured for at least a couple of game weeks. And I can't afford to hold on to a player who is that expensive when I can replace him with another heavy hitting player. So what do I do, guys? Well, I can either do a straight transfer of Lukaku to Vardy and then hope that Livramento can cover Mahrez and Armstrong for this game week. I think that's a real possibility. No hits need to be taken. It's a straight swap. Vardy's in good form. Fixtures aren't amazing for Leicester, but you know we do know that Vardy can be fairly fixture proof, and Vardy has also scored 7 goals in 8 games so far this season and 1 assist as well. It's not bad at all, really. He's not even relying on penalties like he did last season. So, yeah, really, really quite nice for Vardy. So, I absolutely do love that transfer move. We have got a couple of other options, though. And, you know, we're going to talk about minuses now and taking -4s. And I know what you guys will be thinking. You'll be thinking, Dan, you're crazy. You cannot be taking a -4 after a wild card. That's just not what you do. But sometimes it's not about what you should do, you know, typically what you should do, but actually being adaptive and flexible and trying to adapt to the very specific circumstances that face you. There is not one blanket rule that we can apply to every single team. And I'm in a situation where I've got some new information. My new information is Lukaku is, you know, this is information I didn't know before I wildcarded. Lukaku is injured. Mahrez played 2 90-minute games in a row. Armstrong is no longer nailed in the Southampton team as I thought he was. I've got this new information now and I have to adapt to it. I can't just say, you know, it was not a case of trust my decisions from before. You know, I brought those players in for a reason. I've got new information since then, and if I was to make the decision again now, I would be making a very different situation. So I'm not going to be proud. I'm not going to be stubborn. I'm going to try and be flexible, and I'm going to suggest some other transfers I could potentially make. So we could get Vardy in for Lukaku, and then we could trade Mahrez because Mahrez is obviously you know, at a big price. We can get some nice heavy hitting players here. So we could either go for Son here. If we really quite like that, like I said, I do think there's going to be goals in this West Ham game. I don't think the fixtures for Spurs are as bad as people think. And then in a few game weeks' time, Spurs have an amazing run of fixtures where we are going to want some Spurs players. So I can get that Spurs player in nice and early. Or we can go for Kai Havertz. Lukaku's out. Timo Werner's out. That means Havertz is going to be playing as a number 9, as a striker for these next few games, for the Norwich game, Newcastle game, Burnley game. Havertz, as an out-of-position midfielder, could score really, really nicely, specifically, if there's a lot of goals in this Norwich game, that's going to be absolutely amazing. That's going to be absolutely amazing. And Havertz, you would say, is going to probably get a goal and assist. You know, in a 4-0 or something like that, which you definitely would predict is very possible. Havertz probably gets a goal and assist in that, and it becomes worth the -4 instantaneously. Absolutely amazing. Crazy. It was just so good. So yeah, that's something I'm really, really looking at doing. But there is one move, well, pair of moves, you know, 2 transfers that I really, really like. And it's really aggressive, it's differential, and it's an exciting way of playing FPL as well. And that is these 2 moves. So, Mahrez to Havertz and Lukaku to Harry Kane. Now, as much as I bash Harry Kane, and I do, I'm not a huge Harry Kane fan, and you know, the start of the season, seeing him not doing so well was kind of a relief because I've been so stubborn in the past of not getting Harry Kane into my team because, you know, as an Arsenal fan, I guess, it must be partly because I'm an Arsenal fan. Maybe I've got these biases against Harry Kane, but at the end of the day, he did very, very well against Newcastle. I know it's only Newcastle, but he still did very well. You know, he's scoring a lot of goals in the European games as well. So he is technically in goal scoring form. And it's probably worth noting that even though he blanked against Aston Villa in game week 7, he was getting a lot of chances as well and came very close. Played really well, I thought. So I actually do feel like the tides are maybe shifting for Harry Kane. I'm sure a lot of you guys will agree, but maybe you're not fully convinced right now. I kind of agree with you. I'm not 100% on this, but what I do like about Harry Kane is that the fact that he is really good in those derby games as well. We've got a derby game against West Ham. This is the kind of game where Harry Kane is going to step up and do the business. So I could go for Vardy. Who is really going to get most points this game week? The combination of Havertz and Kane, I think, has got the best chance of scoring points this game week and being instantaneously rewarding. And that is one of the reasons why I really, really do like this move. It's also exciting, it's differential, and it's the kind of move I want to make if I want to step up. Because what I really want to do, guys, I want to win FPL. I want to win the whole thing, and you can't do that by just making template moves and safe moves. And instead, maybe we've got to step back and think, what do I really think are the best moves? Not what are the safest moves. Who do I think is going to get the most points? Who leaves my team most open to flexibility? Because that's been a huge part of my game this season as well. Flexibility. Bringing in Harry Kane rather than a Jamie Vardy allows me to very easily pivot back to a Lukaku when he's fit, to a Cristiano Ronaldo when Manchester United's fixtures look really good from, I can't remember where it is, it's kind of like game week 15 onwards or something like that. Manchester United have an insanely good fixture swing, and that could be a really good opportunity to go back to from Harry Kane to a Ronaldo then. So yeah, there is lots of advantages to going for this particular combo. I'm not completely set on it, guys. As always, you know, until the deadline passes, no team is locked. It never is. But this is the move I am most tempted by right now. Don't get me wrong. I like the other moves as well. I like Vardy. I like Son. Those moves sound very nice indeed. But what's most exciting? What excites me the most? This move excites me the most. It really does, and it gives me flexibility for the future. I know these are risky players to go for, and particularly Havertz. Havertz would be a 3-week punt kind of thing, and then we'd move him on afterwards. But Kane is going to be good for several game weeks until we eventually perhaps move him back to Ronaldo, probably quite easily. So overall, I think I like this. I think I like this a lot. But I'm obviously really interested to hear your opinions. Maybe you've got some explanation where maybe I've kind of overlooked some information. Maybe you think you would do something slightly differently. Really keen to know what you guys think. But this is kind of my thinking as of this exact moment. And believe me, guys, I've been thinking about it a lot because, yeah, I really do want to get this right and break into the top 1,000 players. And I want to do that. Preferably this week. I do want to do it this week, and I think it's possible if I make the right transfer moves. Could these be the moves? Potentially. Anyway, on captains, guys, let's give the captain's armband to Salah because, I mean, for me, it was between Lukaku and Salah. I was leaning towards Salah anyway. Lukaku out, that kind of just confirms it for me. Salah is probably the best captain move you can make this week. The form, you know, Manchester United's form as well. It's just, you know, don't even doubt it. I no point in overthinking this one. And let's just give the vice captain to Havertz for now because that could be a huge score for him against Norwich as well. Really like that. Really like that indeed. So there we go, guys. That is the I guess provisional lineup for game week 10. Taking a -4. Why not? Let's do it, boys. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you did enjoy what you saw today, please do leave a like. And, of course, like I said, subscribe. Because I know a lot of you guys are not subscribed right now. Come on, subscribe. That's really going to help me out. You know, if half of you subscribe right now, we would get to 100,000 subscribers in, like, a day. So, yeah, that would be awesome if you wouldn't mind doing that. But, yeah, there we go, guys. We are going to do a deadline stream tomorrow on Friday before the Arsenal versus Aston Villa game. But that's going to be it for the content after that. We'll probably talk a lot about Lukaku and stuff like that in tomorrow's stream. So do look forward to that. But, yeah, aside from that, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you later, mates. Bye-bye.